Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to Pep Talks in the Morning. My name is Felicia Holder, your host of this program every Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. I'm also the chairman of the Progressive Empowerment Party and the head of finance. I wear multiple hats, but I love doing this program every morning. This is my joy waking up most times to come and host this program with you. Now, today I'm introducing a new segment, always finding new ways to revolutionize the show to bring you new and interesting content, new guests. And today we are introducing Talk Your Talk Thursday, and it will involve interviews with our PEP caretaker for our PEP hub leader for the Central Hub, Matthew Gibbs. He's coming on in a couple of minutes, followed by our potential candidate for, well, our nominee for Sawa Baratari, which is Miss Alberta Stacy Perdine at 8:30, followed by Natalia Moore, who is one of the co-chairs of our youth arm. So we are going to have a very interesting program this morning. When Natalia leaves, I'm opening the lines as usual for the rest of the public to call in and talk it talk. So, starting off Talk It Talk Thursday, we are going to bring on Mr. Matthew Gibbs, who should be in the waiting room right about now. Matthew, good
Good
morning,
morning,
Matthew.
guys. Good morning. Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I hope everybody in TNT is fine this morning as well.
Please, to the viewing public, take this time to click share on your pages, on your newsfeed, in your groups, on your WhatsApp. Let's bring everybody into the Talk this Tuesday. So, Matthew, tell me, how are things going on your end?
Well, on my end in Central here, on under the Central Hub, we have about 10 or 11 constituencies that we provide for. Doing some groundwork with some of the crew and staff, if I should term it that way. We have encountered a lot of issues that has been facing the general public for God alone knows how long. And these are issues that I think, with proper representation and proper management, could be solved in terms of infrastructural work like drainage, roadworks, and the number one complaint is water supply. Because in Central, they put us on a schedule in terms of water, and then you get up in the morning, nothing in your pipe. Late at night, barely anything in your pipe. It's not even enough pressure to fill your water tanks. That is the general complaints that I've been receiving from the various constituents. Yeah.
What is your water schedule supposed to be like?
Well, we would normally get, they change it up. I think from week to week they change it, but it's generally they give you water um like in the wee hours of the morning till about 8, and after that, if you had a shower, you have to hug up your wall and try to shower. Just saying. Yeah, because the water pressure is very low. Even when you do get it, sometimes it's very low.
So, what is that like in terms of COVID-19? Because a couple of weeks ago, we here in Belmont, and ever so often, we go through the same thing, which is a water shortage. You don't get water for days. If you have a tank, luckily, you might be able to um, hold out for a couple of days. But based on what COVID-19 requires, which is washing your hands often, taking more than regular baths,
Yeah,
doing laundry because your clothes have to, every time you go out and you come back in, and have no such thing as wearing the same jeans twice because you need to be
yeah.
doing, especially if you are in the essential services, if you work as a nurse or a doctor, etc. So, what is that like in terms of during this time of COVID-19, having to deal with those issues in Central?
Well, these issues already pre-existed before COVID. Now that the health demand, the health side of it is it requires a demand to always have water. Because I mean, if you try to wash, like I say, a lot of people who I've been in contact with, they give me the same complaint where, okay, you might try to wash, you get water, but the water pressure is so low, you're not able to wash as much as you could. When you do get some water again, the pressure is not enough to fill tanks. Some people, for example, in Londonville, who I spoke with, they said that they have to they send out a request to have truck-borne water to fill their tanks. In some cases, people have to pay for it. So the paying part, I'm not 100% clear about, but that is the reports that I got from a lot of the people who I've interacted with. And it makes it very difficult to maintain a level of hygiene without a regular supply of water. Now, again, like I've always been touching on our policies within the PEP. Had the infrastructure been set up in such a way where the water courses are diverted into a catchment pond or a water retention pond and breaking it up in every constituency, so when we have the rainy season, we have a surplus of water to supply for the dry season. Now, having those mini reservoirs, if you want to term it like that, you put a little a small treatment plant next to it, which one will now treat the water and pump it back for domestic use as well as commercial availability. These policies will make sure that everybody has water 24 hours a day. Years ago, I've been hearing about Water for All 2020. We almost in 2021. And water for who? Seriously, water for who?
Matthew, yesterday, I don't know if you got, if this, you experienced this in Central, but here in Port of Spain, we got some rain, which was a nice change from the hot sun that has been beaten down for the past couple weeks. But in that few minutes of rain, and it didn't last long, probably less than 20 minutes, I drove into Port of Spain about 10 minutes after that, and some areas had already started to flood. Did you get rain yesterday, and did you experience any level or sort of flooding at all?
We got rain yesterday, but we didn't get any kind of flooding as yet. But the drains, the waterways started to fill up. And like I said, that rain didn't fall too long. So, I mean, again, let's catch the water. Let's prepare the waterways. Again, I will stress on the aspect of, because this salary assistance grant seems to be a fairy tale for a lot of people, why don't we get the people within the communities to come out and do the work, stimulate the local economies, and then we can cushion the blow post COVID? Because the $10,000 you had before COVID is not worth 10,000 after COVID. Just saying. Prices have gone up. We have been experiencing price gouging, inflation to ridiculous levels, where again within our policies, we could have removed taxes off of food, making the availability to stretch that dollar possible for the small man to now provide for his family. A lot of the things that this administration are implementing, some are good. I'm not saying all, like about 10% good, but our focus should be on the people. My stance personally is that the average Joe should be entitled to somewhat of a fair lifestyle where basic living commodities should be at, at the fingertips. I mean, our living conditions here in Trinidad and Tobago, especially in Central, we have a lot of poverty stricken areas. This is not a result of the people. This is not really a result of communities not being able to bring themselves out, but it is a direct result of poor representation, mismanagement of government and government offices. A lot of the people, if we implement accountability within our system, a lot of things will change. Like Philip said, if we're in government, you have no police escort because that is taxpayers' dollars being wasted. And again, we also stress if the Minister of Health or those within that portfolio were forced to use the public system, tomorrow it would be changed. But again, the general public does not have the money to go to Sinclair Medical, Medical Associates, and those private institutions where we believe we get better service. Our public health sector should be on par.
Well, you raised that issue, and but before you raise that issue, you mentioned something that I want to circle back to in terms of work in your constituency. Like I mentioned yesterday, 2 drops of rain fell, less than half an hour of rain fell, and areas in Port of Spain had already begun to flood. I saw one of our deputy political leaders, Lima McLeod Wilkinson, she put up a post a few weeks ago that spoke about why aren't we preparing for the rainy season, the flood season, which has already been predicted to be one of the wettest seasons, one of the most
Hmm.
well, we have a high propensity for flooding, even higher propensity than what we experienced back in the 2018 floods. And with this being said, she put out a post that, what work is being done in the constituencies in terms of dredging the rivers, in terms of making sure you're not building anything around the floodplains, etc., like that, or anything that was built is removed to prevent that would prevent the water from. Are you seeing any of this being done in your constituency? Because somebody came on her post and said it's being done, and Central, as everybody would know, is one of the areas. It's on a flat plain. It's one of the areas that gets hit the hardest when it comes to rainy
Yes.
season. We are now expecting an even wetter rainy season. So I would expect that these weeks would be happening with high intensity in Central. Is that happening?
Well, so far from what I've seen, there is some work being carried out, but the extent of the work is yet to be seen. I've noticed on the Endeavour Road coming out from Gillingham Junction in Cunupia, that is a flood prone area where I highlighted some of the issues. The infrastructure of the drainage and the waterways has been corrupted by the housing developments that they have done in the back there. Now, where I live in Greenville here, the area itself does not flood, but you see to get in and out, those access roads, that is where the issue is. You have sometimes bumper height. Last time I passed through some water was bumper height water, and again with an hour of rain. So with what you just said, it is they are saying that this rainy season should be something to deal with. And again, why aren't we dealing with? Why do we wait until the very last minute to get something done? Throughout this COVID experience, which has been over 8 weeks, we could have addressed this from day one. But again, a lot of those who have the portfolios, they lack the foresight. They lack what is called common sense, I should say. Because again, all of this work or all of these issues could have been addressed and also created employment for those who are left on the breadline. COVID is not just a disease, it has now become a way of life, an altered way of life that everyone has to deal with. And it makes it highly impossible for us to move forward as a nation where simple tasks are not being addressed. That is the waterways and the drainage infrastructure. These are important issues within all the constituencies of Central. The basic complaint, because you're right, when it rains, it pours, and we do get the full brunt of flooding. Now, to go back a little bit, a point I wanted to raise, Wassa said that all the water in the land belongs to them. By whatever means you capture water, it belongs to them and you have to pay for it. So if the water in the land belongs to you and it floods and it damages my property, who do I sue? Then Wassa should be held accountable for that, right? Jane,
Indeed.
yeah, because I mean there are different stipulations within law concerning property and damages to property. So Wassa being the entity that demands you to pay for water by whatever means you acquire it, now should means that the liability and the responsibility should be extended to them where they have to compensate for damages to my property done by their entities, which is the water. So again, a lot of these things should work hand in hand, and we as a people must learn to stand up and say enough is enough and do something about it. We really need to do something about it. We have to get this country streamlined because again, to what we're discussing right now in terms of rainy season coming in, flooding, infrastructural issues, all of these things could have been addressed with proper foresight, proper management, and again, proper representation, which we have been lacking for over 57 plus years. Let's face the facts. Let us face that fact. Voting tribal, voting because your family says so, that does not make sense. We should make decisions based on policy and how it affects our lives. Simple things like drainage that affects our lives because an unclear waterway could now damage my property, which is going to put me into expense. These are things the representatives, the members of parliament, who are ghosts and figments of our imagination, they should now address these matters. They should walk through their areas. Again, why are we doing the job of government? We are not in government. We don't have parliamentary privilege, but yet we are more effective, we are more efficient in getting the things done. Why is that? Now, stop me if I'm wrong. Last local election, that is exactly what it was, an election. To elect someone who displays the ability and the capability to get the job done and for proper representation. Since that, a lot of people in the different constituencies, they don't even know who their MP is. They don't even know who their their councillor, their representative is. So how is this going to work? Really, how is it going to work? All this ties into what we're discussing right now in terms of getting the constituencies fixed. Now, I understand clearly that fixing a constituency one by one, we can fix this country. Let us not give up on our land. We are all sons of this soil. We need to protect our interests and our future interests, which are our children and our offspring that comes after us. And we have to provide a legacy that they can be proud of. They need to know that, you know what? Those before us stood up and provided for a better country for us today. Again, all of what I'm saying ties right back into the simple issue of lack of preparation, lack of foresight. This government and the administration past, they have been more reactive than proactive. And even with them being reactive, they're doing it oh inefficiently,
No,
high
but you're
inefficiency.
on point. You're on point with that because I mean, you started off the program by talking about the fact that you have no water in Central, and now we are literally discussing the fact that you are about to experience more than enough rain in Central in the next couple of weeks. I asked you what's being done in terms of dredging. You're saying some works are happening, but not in the areas that have been known and prone to flooding. I didn't ask
Hmm.
this question. I would think that since we had that grand flood in 2018, there would be some form of widening or deepening of the rivers and the river banks that we have here that you have in Central. I know the Caroni River is one
Hmm.
such river, and there are a couple others, smaller ones that do contribute to the flooding in the back by Kelly and all of those Canupia, etc. What is being done for that? And I say that because again we're discussing drought, flood. And I mean how much more how much more insane can we get if every year we prepare
Yeah.
for drought and then
Yes. Yeah.
flood? In
Yeah.
the Sahara Desert, they have figured out how to get water 24/7. And I mean,
Yeah.
sorry, Dubai, the Sahara
Yeah.
Desert, but
Dubai.
Dubai
Yeah.
is a desert prone area. They have figured out
Yep.
how to get water 24/7. How have we not yet figured? And I said this on the show yesterday, and I say it all the time. How have we not yet figured out how to take the 6 months of flood water, catch it, store it, treat it, to distribute during the 6 months of dry weather? And that perplexes me to the like if there's one thing that I cannot understand in terms of the way this country is set up, is our inability to do that. That simple thing. We have, if you look in every yard in this country, you would find a water tank. Almost every yard has
Hmm.
one, two, three, four water tanks. How have the
Hmm.
citizens figured out how to store water? But the people responsible for storing and distributing water have not yet figured out that mathematics. It's mind-boggling.
Yes, it is. It's definitely mind-boggling. And you're right. Every every 5 years, we go through the same thing. Dry season, well, drought, flooding. Hashtag UNCPNM, which they both result they give us the same end result: stress, unanswered questions, lack of transparency. Now, again, Felicia, I mean, I'm a businessman, but let's just say I sell and manufacture water bottles, because I can't say I sell water, I sell plastic bottles. If my demand has to be met, and at the year I have to declare how much millions in profit, it's only obvious I'll put my hand in the government and say, hey, hold up. Let them buy my water tanks. Let them buy my water. Just saying, for speculation. Now,
But
again,
there's no speculation. I don't think there's much speculation left to that particular issue, Matthew, because again, another thing that is mind-boggling to me is that water companies in this country have figured out how to be able to get a 24/7 supply of water at a price to the public. But our Water and Sewage Authority, our Ministry of Public Utilities, our Minister of Public Utilities have not yet figured that out. I mean, that is either gross incompetence or just complete negligence. And either way, it is testament that they have all failed. And it's testament that from a leadership level down, not we, but the people who we have put in charge and who have been responsible for these things either don't know what they're doing or they just do not have the interest of the public in mind. They don't have the interest of 24/7. How is it? What what license did Blue Waters get that and the Sani and Oasis and all these people? What license did they get that they could have 24/7 water, that they could produce water in the thousands of gallons and sell it and bottle it
mm,
to us in the what license did they get? Because if that's the case, can they tell WASA how to get one? Because WASA clearly is struggling.
yes, I agree. I totally agree, Felicia. I totally agree there. Because you see, again, nothing works. Nothing works in Trinidad and Tobago. Nothing works. I mean, if I were a pharmaceutical salesman, would you now put me as Minister of Health? Okay. If I'm a geologist, would you put me as the Prime Minister? Everybody who obtains a portfolio should be qualified within their portfolios and held accountable, because you now serve in public office. You're put there by the people, which means you are an employee of the country and the citizens. We don't work for you, you work for us, because it's our hard-earned tax dollars that pays their salaries and affords them a better lifestyle than we do. A friend of mine, he and I engaged, I wouldn't really say in an argument, but a discussion. He is there and insisting that I join and come across to his party that he supports. I asked him point blank, I said, why are you a diehard supporter? Well, boy, that is what I know. I said, well, that is not a suitable answer. I said, if you're a diehard supporter and you're so beloved to this party, why it is you have to get up 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, go to your garden, work hell hard, and experience all the woes that you experience. He as a farmer as well. When flood hits, affects him because it washes away his entire crop, and that is his bread and butter. Now, being a diehard supporter is one thing, but if I have to support anyone in any venture, obviously I look at you and I look at where I am. If at the end of the day, anyone in administration, in administrative portfolios within government, you live in 100% better than me, and I'm supporting you, something definitely wrong with me. Because you know why? If you are a genuine person and true to your country, and you define what a patriot is, you'll make sure that everyone, even the constituents that you represent, are provided for. I'm not saying that we all have to be millionaires, but again, we can have a level of life of normalcy where we go to the health center, we don't sit down there for 8 hours. We can use public transportation and don't have to hope that the bus air shut down or break in half. These simple
Hmm.
issues are things that need urgently to be addressed. Again, right now by me here, rain has started falling. If rain falls for about an hour, that's it. I'm stranded right here. I cannot go out to do what I need to do because the waterways will become filled and overflow, hence flooding. Again, like one of our policies, we can put water retention ponds within various constituencies, if not all, treat it and supply commercially, supply for domestic use. We can even put it where farmers have a regular supply of water. And you're right. How come water bottle companies, how is it in a drought, they have more water than we could ever want? How is that? So maybe the
I have
CEO of WASA.
never I have never gone into a supermarket and asked for a case or bottle of water and heard we don't have any water right now. We on a schedule. Come back Wednesday. I've never heard that. There's always water, always bottled water. But Matthew, Adi, we have completely run out of time for your segment. Yes, it flies so quickly. So I'll give you a minute to wrap up before we bring on our next guest on the program.
Well, guys, in wrapping up, all I can say within the central hub, everyone and anyone who's out there and willing to assist and come out and be a part of the change rather than we just talk about change, come on, join, support us. Um, Give a lending hand of simple, small donations to support our cause. Our fight is the fight of the people. Our voice is the voice of the people. Our actions will result in a better people. Let us all come together and make this country whole again. Trinidad is not lost, you know. We can recover what has been damaged. We can fix what seems impossible. People need to examine our policies. Anyone out there who wants to contact me, it's not a problem. You all can do it via our Facebook pages. We have the Shagonasees page, Carney East, Carney Central, what have you. You can look it up on Facebook, send a comment, let us know if you're willing to be part and parcel of our change and our positive movement forward. And let's get this done right. Let us get it done right. This election coming up here, Felicia, I think is the most critical in our nation's history because we're at a turning point where past administration, present administration have proven themselves. They have really stepped up and proven themselves to be an entity not to look at, not to entertain anymore. Let us make that change. This is not just a cry from the PP. This is my personal request because we all have families to take care of. And if I cannot provide for my family, then what is the use in being a father? What is the use in being a man? We all need to take our responsibilities as citizens very serious because if you stand up there and say, politics don't bother me, when you go in the grocery and you look at the price of bread, flour, what have you, let it know that politics affects you. Because of poor governance, we are now overpaying. We have taxes upon taxes, which is the same tax that we pay 3 and 4 times for. We pay 5% on the pump, which is supposed to be allocated to the Ministry of Works to see about the roads and whatnot. Where's that money? And folks, let's not forget, please, within all this destruction of barrier fuel and all of that, let that be the focus of your discussion. And also, I stress to the general public, let us please ask for accountability on the HSF because I've noticed no one is talking about that anymore. Let us ask for accountability. And after this election, or as soon as possible, all of those with the necessary with the respective portfolios, let them stand the consequences of their actions. Let us make sure that they are held accountable. Each individual. My personal belief, to wrap it up, to make it short and sweet, any administration that leaves office, whatever debt, whatever downfall, whatever negativity you have put upon the country, every individual should be held accountable for such actions coming out of office. You as an individual should now be held accountable with consequence. May it be treason, whatever the case is, with consequence after you leave office. Then this country will function the way it needs to be. Thanks there.
Thank you, Matthew. Well said. Thank you for joining us on the program this morning. We'll chat later.
Not a problem. Have a good one,
All
guys.
right. Yes. So up next on the program, we have Alberta Stacey Perdine, who is the PEP caretaker for Barataria Sawan. And she's also the PEP nominee for the seat of Barataria Sawan. Good morning to you, Alberta.
Good morning, Felicia. How are you?
I am good, and yourself?
I'm great. I'm great.
Stacey has been on this show in the capacity of a co-host before, but today is the roles are actually a little bit reversed. Stacey sits in the guest seat this morning where she will be interviewed by me. And Stacey, I have to start off by saying this young lady is a very passionate young woman, I have to say. We did a hamper drive a couple weeks ago, and the first I had to call Stacy. She said she was about to go and take a nap, but I told her I had some hampers to drop off in her area. She said, "No problem, come pick me up." I came, I picked her up, and the first thing she said when she jumped in my car was, "Felicia, I miss you all so much. I can't wait to walk about. This is so hard." And I'm like, "Girl, you have a period where you don't have to walk in the hot sun, and that is what you're missing." But again, it's testament to just how passionate she is about her job, how much she loves the groundwork. And Stacey, this morning, I mean, you are one of our, like I say, very hardworking members, a caretaker. Why did you choose to get involved with the Progressive Empowerment Party?
I got into politics, Felicia, because I owe my country and the constituency of Barataria Sao my voice. I always admired the work of the Progressive Empowerment Party. You're well organized, well structured, well placed, but politics here, with people, I always believe that politics are people who might be to their funds or to the persons within their constituency. I,
I
I
think
wanted to
you
be able to actually lead from my to help as much people, but because it is the right.
Stacey, I think I just messaged Master Control to find out if you are breaking up or me. I think you are breaking up. I don't know if you are in an area of weak Wi-Fi connection. Are you? Make sure you're not on your data and you're on your Wi-Fi. Stacey? All right, we seem to have lost Stacey for a hot minute. I would allow Mr. Producer to work on bringing her back up on the show with us. This morning, the Wi-Fi connection, the internet connection seems to be a bit spotty in some areas. I was experiencing that a little bit earlier on in the program. Let me see if she will come back up. But in the meantime, I do want to talk about Miss Alberta Stacey Padine. She's been with the Progressive Empowerment Party for a couple of months now. I believe, and if I can translate clearly what she was saying, she got involved because she believed that she owes her constituency her voice. And that is something that I have to admire about all of the people who get involved with the Progressive Empowerment Party. Their willingness to serve, their willingness to put country first. Because if you look and you ask many of the people who did get involved, politics was nowhere on their horizon in terms of a career choice. I know for me personally, it was never a choice to get involved in politics. I had already charted my life, my career. I was so sure that I was going to stay in the corporate world and climb the ladder and one day be a manager and then a CEO. And I mean, all of the dreams that you have that suddenly and slowly get chipped away at when you start to notice that things in society, as much as you have all of these dreams for yourself, you can have the big house, you can have the big car, you could have the millions of dollars in your bank account, but if you don't feel safe, if you can't access proper health care, if you don't have water in your pipe, then what is all of what is all of this for? What are you really aspiring to if you still have all of those things in a country that doesn't work? And for me, getting involved, I got involved for similar reasons like Alberta. I wanted to be a voice. Not well, she specifically has a love for her constituency, and I have to say it is a really strong love, like I was pointing out earlier. But for me, I was more concerned on my angle for joining. I was concerned about the crime, the spate of crime in the country, and I was looking at it more on a national level. Young women in particular who were going missing, who were turning up dead, who were being raped. I have and hold a special place for them in my heart, and it's the reason why I got involved. Me being a young woman myself, didn't want to be that person who was going through life pretending that myself and other women were not at risk in a country that did not seem to be able to secure its borders, does not seem to be able to secure its borders, does not seem to be able to detect and pick up on crimes and murders. I mean, one of the reasons why we have so many murders in this country is because it's understood that we have a very low detection rate when it comes to crime. So criminals have a free pass, they do what they want. And understanding all of this, I decided to get involved, and I applaud all of the people, Matthew Gibbs, who came on the show, Alberta, who I'm hoping we get back on because I would really like to discuss with her plans for her constituency. Natalia Moore, the co-chair of the youth who's coming on in a bit. Michelle Davis, who hosts the show with me very regularly. Stacey, you're back on.
Yes, I'm back on. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, once again.
Let's see how your connection works this time. I was explaining to the public while you were off the reasons why many of
Mhm.
us get involved, and the fact that you seem to have a real love for your constituency. What are your plans for your constituency should you really be the MP of that area? What would you like to see happen in your constituency?
To once, if given the opportunity to become an MP, I want Barataria Sawa to be a prospering constituency that everyone will be dealt with their matters in a timely and orderly manner as well, that I will be for the people, not against the people. I want to be able to uplift the constituency as well and function in a positive capacity for the people as well. And one of my one of my main issues that I always keep saying, Felicia, politics begins with common people who can provide basic amenities to their constituents. And I want to be able to do that, and give give a chance to see what is good leadership or good governance as well.
As you raise that particular issue, what are some of the problems right now in Sawa Barasario?
Right. So the problems that we have in the Barataria Sawa area is basically poor infrastructure, no proper drainage and stuff, a lot of vacant buildings that could be used for community development for the youths and stuff as well, sporting complex and all those things like that. That is one of the main issues we're having, where there are clogged drains, all those things like that, which will be prone to flooding, of course, when the rainy season approaches us.
Did you get any rain yesterday?
No, we did not have any rain as yet. Well, as yet, I should say, but no,
Okay, because
not yet.
I was talking with Matthew and telling him about the bit of flooding that we started to get in Port of Spain yesterday after a few minutes of rain. What how has working the ground been so far for you? Because I know, Alberta, like, you love the ground. I know you love interacting with the people. How has that been so far?
Oh, Felicia, that is such a blessing to be able to meet these people, to listen to them, to hear them out, just to conversate with them is a blessing. I love being on the ground because I they show me love. They are very, very, very nice. I just love interacting with them, Felicia. I this the groundwork is the best part of it.
So, are you doing regular walkabouts? Because I know we now have permission to walk about our constituencies again. I saw you would have started last week Saturday on the ground. What part of your constituency did you walk?
Right. So yes, I we did start it last week. We worked on the LC Coro extension, and we will be continuing along that path there for the upcoming time. But um, the LC Coro extension, I noticed that beside the poor drainage and stuff, a lot of residents was complaining about the stagnant water due to poor drainage being there, causing a lot of mosquitoes and all those things for them as well too. So yeah, that is another issue that needs to be looked into as well. Breeding ground for mosquitoes and stuff.
Okay. As you and what has the response been to you so far in your walkabouts? The response to you and the response to Progressive Empowerment Party, what has that been like so far?
Oh, the people love the Progressive Empowerment Party. They love listening to the videos. They love interacting with the members of the Progressive Empowerment Party. And I do have a very, very positive response from the people. Like I told you, sometimes they would see us doing our walkabout. For example, like last week Saturday, we were doing our walkabouts and stuff, and he came up and he was asking questions, and I showed him the policies, and I spoke with him and stuff, and I told him, if we were to be placed into office and stuff, the constituency will be uplifted and in a positive way and stuff, and he admired that, and he was actually looking at the policies, and he was like, you know what, next time you are going to do any walkabout, let me know. So I could also tell my friends and stuff. I was like, no problem. So yes, they do have a positive response and they love listening to the Progressive Empowerment Party members as well.
We saw last week that the PNM would have put out their candidate, and I mean, it seems more like a PR stunt more than anything. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of people were commenting on the fact that this was somebody who had not been involved in politics. It seemed like a very rash decision. It happened in the midst of many things that were taking place in the in the country as it relates to this present government. What do you think that you can offer that would be different from what the other parties are offering?
Felicia, I can offer truth and I can actually offer assistance. Those are the two things that the people don't get, and I can offer that to them as well. Truth and assistance and help in whatever form or manner that they will think that they need. I will be there for them. I don't want to just give them hopes and dreams, and then when if elected I just abandon them like what the past and present MPs would do. I will not do something like that. I want to be able to the constituency and lead the people in the way that they should, because being a leader, you have to also, being a leader, the people plays a very crucial part in anything that you do, and they are important to me just as I may be important to them as well.
Understood. And how has the fundraising aspect been going? I see that you would have kicked off with your barbecue that you are having on is it June the 19th?
Yes, yes. So far,
Congratulations on that,
that
by the way.
repeat what you just said, Felicia. Sorry.
No, I was saying that I saw you are having a barbecue on June the 19th.
Yes. Yes. Right. So on June 19th, yes, the Barataria Sour constituency is having their first barbecue. Um, and the cost of the ticket is $40. The pickup time is from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. All all donations proceed goes towards the campaigning, etc. For the constituency, I can be contacted on 309-5105. That's 309-5105 for further information.
And all of this money is going towards funding of the campaign for Sour Barataria. Yes.
Correct. That's correct.
I have to say though, Alberta, and when I said at the beginning that you're a very hardworking woman who is loves the ground, it shows in just how you have hit the ground running. I mean, you are raising your own campaign finance. And when people ask how do we fund things in the party and in this party, and I tell them we throw barbecues and curricues, they don't believe us, but it is true. We are throwing our barbecues and curricues because we want this bad, and we want to do it the right way. And Stacey, I am really proud of the work that you're doing, even during this COVID-19 period, even though we are not a financier funded party, I would say that you're doing a tremendous work in terms of getting your constituency team off of the ground. I'm in that thread with you guys. I'm getting a million messages a minute. Y'all are busy. You're definitely working hard. And I am positive, I have seen you in action, and I'm positive that the people of Sawa Barataria would really experience you for the genuine person that you are. Anything, and actually, I'm giving you a couple minutes to address the public, address the people of Sawa Barataria, give them your closing comments before we go to break.
Okay. I, I just want to say that to the people of Barataria Sawa, change is here and it be the Progressive Empowerment Party. Your vote matters because if you do not vote, you would be ignoring history and giving away the future. For elections day, come out and vote for change. Vote for a party that have policies that will be implemented, that will work for the people, not against the people. Let us make a difference in Trinidad and Tobago. It is not late. We can do this.
Thank you, Stacey, and thank you very much for coming on the program this morning. I'll see you and we'll chat soon.
Thank you. Bye, Felicia.
Bye bye. So that was not Natalia, sorry, that was Alberta Stacey Perdine. I just wanted to touch a little bit more on what she said before we go to break. I mentioned the fact that the PNM would have put out their candidates for Samoa and Barataria. We have not officially launched our candidates yet, and when we do, trust me, Trinidad and Tobago, you're going to be impressed, you're going to be blown away because not only do we have new, young, fresh faces, people who have a real passion for their country, people who, despite COVID 19 or despite the challenges of financing their campaign, they are still working hard, they're on the ground, they are reaching out to people in their constituencies. We had our hamper drive a few weeks ago and Stacey and Matthew was two of those people from the Progressive Empowerment Party's mobilization team who were very actively involved in helping us get that relief to the constituency. So not only do we have people with passion and a heart for fixing their country and their respective constituencies, but most importantly, and I have to say that I have to underscore this and I have to say that it is most important, they are not coming from the bowels of the same recycled party that we keep seeing in and out, in and out, in and out. And when we talk about the cyclical nature of the PNM UNC saga that this country has been going through for decades now, when we talk about that the nature of that, the reason why we bring it up is because there have been good people who have joined those particular parties. The candidate for the PNM candidate for Samuel Barratar, I know him personally, and he's a great guy. And I say this about anybody that I know who goes to represent in either of those two political parties. You might be a great person, but you're still a part of a political organization that was set up to fail, that was set up to fail the people, that was set up to, with a lot of red tape and bureaucracy, things that we see that it gets transferred into to government and into the public service and the public sector. It's set up to encourage nepotism and giving back to friends and all of this, all of the negatives that we have experienced as a population that hinders our growth and our ability to move forward. It's why there is a Progressive Empowerment Party. We in the PP are 100% disconnected from the contract mafia. We are 100% disconnected from the 1% financiers. We are 100% disconnected from people who have nefarious, I would say, they are involved in nefarious activities. We're 100% disconnected from the quote unquote community leaders who are or have been given state contracts and who are involved and have gang rivalry happening throughout the country. We're disconnected from all of that because it is high time that Trinidad and Tobago had something new to look forward to and not something recycled, not the same old that you just slap a new face on, you slap a popular face on in order to win votes, because an election is not about winning votes. An election is about electing real representation into parliament. It is about electing people who can deliver once they get in there. And if you continually electing people who are part of a broken system, we are only ever going to get a broken system after elections. And we say in the Progressive Empowerment Party, there's the wedding and then there's the marriage. The wedding is the election. The marriage is what we plan to do given the chance of office. And a lot of those political parties, a lot of young people who join those political parties, they get involved and they say they want to make a difference. And then they realize that they can't make the kind of change that they want to make because of the way the system is set up. Ergo, the Progressive Empowerment Party. We're set up for this reason. We want to be disconnected from the same old, and we want to offer the people real solutions, real policies, real representation. And the reason why we stick into our guns like that is because we have the political will. We don't have anybody pulling our strings. We don't have anybody telling us, you have to do this because I'm giving you this money, or I'm giving you this money, so I want 10 times back when you get into office. What you see is what you get with the Progressive Empowerment Party. Not only do you have a group of committed, patriotic citizens trying to make a change, but they are part of an organization that is representative of the change that we are trying to be. So, with that said, we're going to go to a quick break and come back with Natalia, the head of our co-chair of the PEP Youth Arm. And we're going to talk TikTok and the TikTok challenge that has been, I guess, that has taken over Trinidad and Tobago and the wider diaspora. When we come back from this break, we will be chatting with Natalia. Please stay tuned.
Antel is Trinidad's most reliable and technically experienced ICT company, providers of quality structured cabling, Cat6 data fiber, and power cables. We also stock cabling infrastructure basket-type cable trays for server rooms and data centers. Antel also installs and maintains video security systems including cameras, alarms, and electronic entrance locks for businesses and residential properties. Call Antel 674-1406 or 783-9250.
On the average day in Trinidad and Tobago, upwards of 250,000 people spend between 3 and 5 hours in traffic on their way to Port of Spain to work in government offices, only to repeat the same insanity at the end of the working day. Entire generations have been raised in the back seats of cars, and people have been talking for decades about how do we solve this problem. We've known since the 80s that the solution to that traffic problem and all of our traffic problems is to decentralize all of those government offices out of Port of Spain. We could essentially have virtual offices where people could telecommute from the communities they live in to do the same jobs they spend 5 hours getting to a government office in Port of Spain for right now. Decentralization would save us billions of dollars in lost man hours. The Progressive Empowerment Party proposes to decentralize out of Port of Spain all government offices to a new government campus in the center of the island, equidistant from all corners. This would facilitate a shorter commute for most people and prevent everyone trying to get into and out of Port of Spain at the same time. Have you ever noticed that when schools are closed, the traffic is less? This is because so many of our people have the ridiculous situation of having to drop children in constituencies far-flung from where they live or work, or have multiples of children going to school in different constituencies, parents coming from San Fernando dropping children to school in Chaguanas, Arima, Port of Spain. The Progressive Empowerment Party proposes, among other things, an education system that assigns a GPA to each child that would allow for the continuous monitoring of performance, making every school potentially a prestige school, and ending the need for choosing schools far-flung across the island, looking for the best opportunities for your child. If all our schools operate from under the same Ministry of Education, receive the same funding, are guided by the same syllabus and curriculum, how then do we explain some schools being prestige and others not? It is time to fix all of that. And fixing this and making it possible for children to go to school where they live will also end traffic. Between decentralizing and zoning of schools, all of that cross-island traffic that caused so much problems for so many would be gone. Isn't it time that we opted to operate this country more like a first world nation and less like a backwater banana republic? Why would we need to inflict so much misery on so many when the solution is so simple? Is it because friends and financiers of political parties own the buildings that the government offices operate in? Could it be something as heinous as that? Is it something that we could address and deal with from the position of putting the people of this country first and not the pockets and the profits of friends and family of those in office? It is time that we had a government in office that took the people's interests first, that recognized that the role and responsibility of government is the well-being and happiness of all the citizens of the country and not just a select few. We could fix all of this, including traffic and more. You have the opportunity now, you have the chance now to vote into office a government that can fix these problems, a government that is willing to face these problems, a government that's willing to come to you and discuss with you all of the issues that have us existing as a failed nation, a banana republic, a narco state, a hellhole. We could turn all of it around. Trinidad does have the capacity to be a beautiful place, a paradise, first world, one of the wealthiest nations in the world. But that won't happen if we continue business as usual and pretend that having upwards of 250,000 people drive across the island 3 to 5 hours morning and evening every day is anything that we need to continue. The country that we want is on the other side of our vote. The choices that we make now should develop and transform this country into a developed nation, a first world nation where we could all benefit. I am Philip Edward Alexander, and this has been a little more than 3 minutes to a better Trinidad and Tobago.
And we are back, and joining us in just a second will be Natalia Moore, one of the co-chairs of our youth arm. I do want to note, I know we were having some technical difficulties, so please, and I know when that happens, the numbers tend to drop off. I understand that it's very difficult to say. Natalia, can you mute the device that you're watching us on? It's just making a little bit of feedback. Thank you. I know you tend to fall off when we have technical difficulties, but we're back strong, and I would really like if you can assist us by hitting share on the video. We're gonna have a nice, interesting convo with Miss Natalia Moore. Good morning to you, Natalia.
Good
Don't forget to
morning.
unmute.
Good morning, Felicia.
How are you this morning?
Okay, I guess it's been a really weird few days with the whole TikTok thing going, and the team just trying to ride the wave and to get everything in order. So
Well, I see that you are, and the youth arm has been extremely busy. I'm in that thread as well. I can't keep up with the 1,000,001 messages. But before we get into the whole TikTok, because that is the main part of this, you have been on this show before as a host, similar to some of the people who came on this morning, but you've never really been in the hot seat as an interviewee, and this morning you are in that hot seat. So I do have a couple questions for you. You got a nice prep, so you should be able to rattle this off at the top of your head. Who's the other co-chair of the PEP Youth Arm? Because it's a co-chair position, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, Felicia, we call ourselves the youth leaders in that there are four of us, and we're literally, it's supposed to be five, but we don't have a youth leader in Tobago as yet, but we do have in Trinidad. So we have one in Central, which is Tahira. We have Tahira in Central. We have Kirsty Alexander in South. We have Daniel Jackson. He's part of the youth in the East, and I am in the North, right? And we have this, we come together and we make decisions based on what is happening, what is trending in Trinidad and Tobago right about now concerning the youth.
Okay. And you in particular, Natalia, because you're a very young person, you tend to hear that young people don't like politics, they don't get involved in politics. This is your moment to shine and speak to the youths of Trinidad and Tobago because you are breaking that stereotype, you're breaking that mold. What encouraged you to get involved in politics as a young person?
First of all, I am 19, which is extremely young, and I don't think anybody in my shoes would get into politics. But what really drove me to that point was that nobody represented me. Now, I could say that 1,000 times, and nobody will still represent me. They won't come in and say, hey, okay, we know exactly what young people want, or we know exactly what young people need. They come in and they say, okay, we're going to walk through the community, we're going to make a set of false promises, because that's what they do. And then 5 years later, you see them again only when it's time for them to get reelected into office. That's the truth. You see them once at the beginning when they really want to get into that position, and then you see them 5 years later when they want to get reelected into that position. And I realized that, so what actually happens? How do I benefit? Who represent me? Who represents my voice? So, there's a quote, and I can't remember who it's from, but it says, you have to be the change that you want to see. So if I wanted to see change, if I wanted to see the young people have a voice in Trinidad and Tobago, I had to be that voice, because a lot of young people, when you ask them, okay, well, you're really great at doing this or you're really great at doing that, you should get into politics. No, I don't want to get into politics. So I said, if the young people really need a voice, I'm going to be one of those voices to help them have a bigger say in the country of Trinidad and Tobago.
Well said. And how did you first hear about the Progressive Improvement Party? Was it the big mouth leader, Philip Alexander?
Oh yeah, I heard him ranting one day on Facebook. And I said that's funny because at that point in time it was ranting. It was me scrolling through my Facebook. I want nothing to do with politics a few years ago. So I'm scrolling through my Facebook and I see somebody ranting on my Facebook page. I'm like, who is this person ranting? And I almost scrolled past it. I swear to God, I almost scrolled past it. And then I was like, you know what? Let me listen for a minute. And that minute turned into probably an hour and a half later. And then the next week, I was telling myself, okay, time to get down to Stanmore Avenue and to meet these people.
And not just meet the people, go on to become one of the strongest voices we have in terms of representing the youth in not just the Progressive Improvement Party, but I would say in Trinidad and Tobago, because I'm not sure if you're aware of just how much of a difference you can make to other youth people who are looking on, who are just as fed up as you, and breaking that stereotype that youths are not interested in politics. I don't think that youths are not interested in politics. I think youths are not interested in the politics that we have right now in Trinidad and Tobago. And I think you can agree with me in terms of that.
Yeah. Yeah, the back and forth and the well, they have a local word that they use for it, and I can't remember what it is. The pecan. Yeah, I do. I really want to listen to two people go back and forth about it in Parliament, or go back and forth and showing pecan. And pecan is for Calypso 10 people, not for the Parliament. Keep it there, okay? Keep it there. There are important issues that we need to discuss. I don't need to know who buy roti and who drink alcohol and all those things. They're irrelevant. They're irrelevant. It doesn't make Trinidad and Tobago a better place. It doesn't make the future of Trinidad and Tobago any better. So keep it in the Calypso tent. We don't need it.
I like that. Keep it in the Calypso stand. And that bacchanal politics is what I would say has driven many of the youths away from politics. They I'm getting an echo from your end. Are you watching me on another device?
No, I'm
Are you
not.
watching me live? Or is it my end?
Mm.
Okay. Well, that getting some weird echo. Anyway, so what was I saying? Ugh, can't remember what I was saying. That echo threw me off. But I'm moving to my next question. What is your role on the youth arm? So you're one of the co-chairs of the youth arm. What are you involved with and involved in right now?
What is my role? So I dabble in a lot of different things. When the Progressive Empowerment Party has me dabbling in a lot of different things when it comes to the youth on. Um, 1 minute I would be, I'm like the glue, and I don't want to use that word, but I'm like the adhesive. So we would come together with all the ideas, and I'd be like, okay, so for example, perfect example is the TikTok challenge that we have going now. So Daniel Jackson came to me after we discussed it in a meeting, and I was like, hey, he was like, hey, we have a lot of TikTok challenges going. They're really doing the voiceover. And then Chrissy was like, Chrissy Alexander, she was like, okay, well, we can make this into something bigger. And I was like, okay, I hear you. So what are we going to do? And they said, okay, let's do a challenge. I was like, but the video is already going viral. So I said, okay, hold on. And then they brought up the ideas, and I said, okay, fine. And I went to Philip. I said, okay, we're going to do this challenge in Youth Dam. It's already a challenge, but we're gonna do a giveaway. We're gonna do a giveaway in that the video with the most views, they win a prize. I don't know what it is yet, but they win a prize. And then I came to you, Felicity, and I said, you know what the prize should be? The prize should be a collab with Philip Edward Alexander and a 9 o'clock in the morning t-shirt, because I was talking to Zeta, who is, she's part of the central team, and she's also part of Pep Merchandising. And she said, we have t-shirts there. And I was like, oh my God, that's great. So I then asked for permission for him to do the video with the winner, and then everything slowly came together. So yeah, I say
I
that would be
wouldn't
my role.
I wouldn't even use the word slowly though, Natalia. We discussed this on Monday. By Monday night, you had already gotten my permission, Philip's permission, and by Tuesday, I was being tagged in multiples of videos that were out on social media of this TikTok challenge, and I was about to ask you, how did this challenge come about? Because we had that video with Philip Alexander. I guess ranting again outside the president's office. And when and how did it become a challenge on TikTok?
Randomly. I believe it became a challenge because when you hear somebody say something like "Where it come from, Terrence, your mommy," it's something that it's as ridiculous as it sounds. It's extremely funny, and then people started to do it over because I want to react to this. I want to show my facial expressions. So I want to do this as a voiceover, and then the more people that do it. Okay, let's say I see it and then my friends see it and like, let's do this too, and I want to do this too, and then it develops overnight. And it skyrocketed. I have no words to put how that became a challenge, but it just did. People saw it. It was like a domino effect. One person did it, and then everybody just continuously did it.
That is unbelievable. And for those of you who are new to TikTok and new to what this whole TikTok is, I asked the producer to put together some of the top videos, the top video submissions for the challenge. What is the name of the challenge? The Philip challenge, or is it the Mommy
The
challenge? What
Philip
is it called?
challenge. Well,
Okay, I
Dania
asked the
Jackson named it the Philip challenge, so that's what we're going with.
Philip challenge. Okay, so I asked the producer to put together some of the top videos on that of the TikTok challenge, which if you not or did not know about it, you will see it on your screens in a couple seconds. Now,
Where the second wave supposed to come from if we lock down 2 months now and the airports closed? Where it coming from, Terrence? Your mommy? Where the second wave supposed to come from if we lock down 2 months now and the airports closed? Where it coming from, Terrence? Your mommy?
and, well, you would have seen it from start to end there. It started, like I said, with Philip doing his video outside the president's residence, and it is now trending on TikTok. Is it, Natalia?
Yes. We're still waiting for your video, Felicia. Where is your Philip challenge video?
I promised Daniel that I was going to do it yesterday, and then I said, you know what? I promised him that I was going to do it. I never promised him that I was going to upload it because I did want to do it and have it be available for this particular episode of Pep Talks in the morning. But we will see. Maybe I might surprise you all and be brave enough to upload it tomorrow. I don't know yet. But it is a challenge that I think you guys can really use to reach out to the youth. How can you go about entering this challenge? Let me know. Let the audience know, sorry.
Well, firstly, if you have already done the video and you're now hearing about the challenge, you can either tag us in it on TikTok at Pep 2020, or you can send it directly to our youth page on Facebook. The the Pep Youth Arm on Facebook. You can send it directly there to us with the hashtags #YaMami, #PhilipChallenge, #Pep Trending, and just send it to us, and we will see it. Everybody's just tagging us in TikTok videos. If you already need it, just tag us in it, and we'll see it, and you'll get registered automatically for this challenge. That's simple. The prizes, as you know, is a collab with Philip Edward Alexander himself and a 9 o'clock in the morning t-shirt. It's trending. People
Very
get on the
nice.
trend.
When is it supposed to end?
We were going for 2 weeks, so we're thinking about June the 2nd. That is the date that we said it. The wave will probably end, and we'll be able to pick a winner. And yeah, so June the 2nd.
And in terms of this challenge, how are you picking the winner? Is it the person who gets the most likes? Who determines who the winner is?
Right, so we're gonna pick the top 5 videos, right? And the top 5 videos would be the videos with the most views on it. The most views. And the winner in particular will come down to who made us laugh the most. So the top five is basically just views. So if you have the most views, you will come down to one of the top 5 picks. But the winner really just comes down to who made us laugh the most. And who really, impersonated Philip Edward Alexander when he said "Your mommy." Who really did that impersonation really well?
I think I have my choice for that particular winner, but I won't sully the challenge by being biased. And you know what? Maybe, just maybe, my video might be just or even funnier. So I don't want to jinx myself as the winner. But no, I'm not entering for the talent. I'm entering for the fun of it. I'm entering to support what you guys in the USAM are doing, because believe it or not, and I was very, very insistent that I got you guys on the program this morning, because it's high time the rest of Trinidad and Tobago see the enormous amount of work that you guys are doing in the youth. To be trending on TikTok is no small thing. It's actually a very big thing, and I'm seeing some real influencers on the platform actually taking part in the challenge, which I think you guys should very much give yourselves a pat on the back for. I hope the entire youth is watching this live video right now, sharing it on their feed, because the work, the hard work that you are doing definitely deserves the big up that you are getting right now. I want you guys to also use this opportunity, because I know you're not pushing a political slant with it, and I like that. Youths don't want to feel like you're shoving politics down their throat. But I hope you're using this opportunity to engage and reach out to the youth who would also look at the other videos and realize it. But you know, as much as they're funny and they have their light humor, they also can be serious about real issues. And like I said, the genesis of this challenge started from a very serious issue that Philip raised outside of the president's house. As funny as it came across, he was talking about what was affecting us in terms of the coronavirus, and more fear mongering that was being spread by the Minister of Health at the time. So like I said, I'm picking up the work that you guys are doing. I want you to be able to tell the rest of the youth looking on, the rest of the public, why should they get involved in politics? Because you all are here, you all are doing it. Why should they?
Well, you know, what you did raise just now was very important. There are very important issues in Trinidad and Tobago that affect the young people. There are very important issues, and we just happen to have the funny and the serious, because it was very seriously brought across. It's fair. We're literally making people afraid to go outside when our country is literally locked down. Our lockdown and our cases probably are at zero right about now, because I don't think we have anybody still in for our hospital. And it's serious, but at the same time, it's funny. Politics shouldn't be politics shouldn't be something you're scared of. First of all, politics should be something you embrace willingly, because politics is your future. It's like the roadmap, and many people won't see it like that, because many people can't make the connection. But everything you do in your life has something to do with politics. Where you go to school, if you get funded to go to university, right? All those things add up to politics. You may not see it, the gas that you put in your vehicle to travel every single day, collecting stuff on the port if you're a young entrepreneur who has her or his own business and they ship down stuff. Politics is all around you. And, it's so funny that because we as a society, because we see everybody else being corrupted, and we see everybody being corrupted. So when it comes down to the little man or the little young person on the street, we say, okay, if they're being corrupted and they're getting through with life, probably that's what I need to do to get through. But I'm here to tell you that's not true. That's not true. You can be a law-abiding citizen and still make it out of this country. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, and sometimes you're gonna be like, please, 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 I just want to pay this $500 and get this fast. But you know what? Probably waiting in the line is better, because it makes you a better person at the end of the day, right? And joining politics as a young person just means that you're doing something for the betterment of your country, for the betterment of your society. And that's the real honor. That's the real good feeling when you do something nice. That's what it's all about. Doing something to better your country.
Indeed. And before you leave, and I want to show over that TikTok challenge video before you go, but do you have any specific advice to any young person looking on right now? Any advice you would like to share with them?
The only thing I tell young people right about now is that it's time to drain the swamp. It's time to drain the swamp. And when you drain the swamp, get yourself involved in the rehabilitation of Trinidad and Tobago, and make it into, a nicer looking pool. Wouldn't you like to be swimming in a nicer looking pool? So yeah, so it's time to drain the swamp.
I know that it may seem like simple advice, but it is the perfect advice, and it perfectly sums up everything that we were discussing today. I mean, we had Alberta Stacy right on before you. Before you, we had her on the program, and she was saying that she one of the reasons why she wants to represent her constituency is that she wants to bring not just her passion and love for the people, but the real and new policies that we have never seen before. I was mentioning that the reason why there is a PEP is because we don't want to be the same old, just changing the shade of our skin every 5 years, but same package on the inside. It's time for something new, time for something fresh, and it, like Natalia said, drain the swamp. Yeah. Natalia, thank you very much for coming on the program this morning. And again, I want to applaud the work that you and the youth are doing. I love that you have managed to merge the seriousness of politics with the humor and the funniness of doing silly videos and putting them online. I see you have definitely captured a wide audience, not just youths, which is amazing. I have to say, once you have a campaign that goes viral and it targets a cross section of the population, I would say that your campaign has already been an enormous success. Before you go, how many people so far have you had entering the challenge? How many videos you've got so far? Any idea?
We have over 100 videos. Over a
Wow.
100 videos. So the hardest thing we have to do right now is pick 5 from that. Because a lot of people are getting a lot of views on their videos. So it's probably gonna be
Yeah.
like a one view difference to be in the top 5. No kidding. We have over 100 videos right now.
All right. So you guys, you heard it. If you would like to be a part of the TikTok challenge, you're winning the prize of doing a TikTok collaboration with Philip Alexander himself, the man who started this Philip challenge or the Mommy challenge or whatever you want to refer to it as. You're also winning a 9 o'clock in the morning t-shirt, which was his first phrase that went viral earlier this year, with gunman in your hole, living in a house, trying to raise a family in a law-abiding manner, 9 o'clock in the morning, gunman in your hole. And we now have 9 o'clock in the morning t-shirts because of that very infamous intro, which actually became the intro to one of the most popular songs in Trinidad and Tobago. So kept saying things, and kept youth they definitely pop in and staying on top of what is trending in terms of the youth population. Great work, Natalia, Daniel, Chrissy, Tahira. You all are doing an amazing job. I will see you and talk to you more on this campaign, Natalia. Take care.
Bye.
To the viewers on the program, I do want you to see that video again, how you can, what you have to do, where it started from, and who you can reach out to. Please, Satish, if you could run that video once again on the live.
Where the second wave supposed to come from if we lock down 2 months now and the airports closed? Where it coming from, Terrence? Your mommy? Where the second wave supposed to come from if we lock down 2 months now and the airports closed? Where it coming from, Terrence? Your mommy?
Listen, and I can't believe you all want me to do that, but I will do that with great pleasure. I tell you, I will have a lot of fun with that. At this point in time, before I go on to this segment and I open the phone lines for anybody who wants to call in, just letting you know, if you would like to be part of that challenge, please, well, you'd have to download TikTok, which is an app on the Play Store or Apple Play or App Store. I'm not sure what the Apple users use. Download the app, do your own version of the challenge, add in the hashtags, tag the PEP Youth Arm, which is PEP 2020. You can find them on TikTok or reach out to any of the Youth Arm leaders, Natalia Moore, Daniel Jackson, Chrissy Alexander, and Tahira Mahadio on Facebook. You can find them on the PEP Youth Arm page. They have their own page. You can find out all of the information, how you can enter and be a part of the Philip challenge, the Mommy challenge that is now trending and taking over social media. So with that, I'm going to ask for a quick break. Actually, no, let's not take a break. I want to open the phone lines immediately for calls. If anybody would like to call in, don't forget that number is 769-4590. You can call me in on WhatsApp as well if you would like to join in on the discussion. This is Talk Your Talk Thursday. So we had a lot of talk happening on the interviewees, and we had Matthew Gibbs, we had Alberta Stacey Padine, who is the caretaker for Barataria Samoa and potential candidate for the area. And we just had Natalia Moore, who is one of the co-chairs of the Youth Arm, coming in to talk about youth and governance, as well as the TikTok challenge that the Youth Arm is spearheading until June the 2nd. And while we wait to see if we have any calls, I'm going to read some of the comments on the live. Good morning, please share. Daniel Jackson, and I hope you're watching this, and I hope the rest of the Youth Arm is watching this program and supporting the hard work by Natalia. She's working very hard, and I know you guys in the Youth Arm are working hard as well. Would love to see you on the live program. Good morning, Meinolf from sunny Germany. It's sunny in Germany this morning. Well, it's actually a little bit overcast here in Trinidad this morning. I'm hoping for some more rain because my plants, which have been neglected over the past 2 weeks, my plants can use some nice rainy weather this morning. While we wait to see if we have any calls, I did want to touch on some current events topics that have been floating around. I mean, for those who would have been following the show for the past couple weeks, within the past 2 weeks, the issue has actually accelerated, and that is of the drama between the the vice president of Venezuela coming to Trinidad, Miss Delcy Rodriguez, and the fiasco that caused within our internal government, our system of government, in terms of the country, and people asking for accountability, asking for transparency on that issue. This morning I was reading Keith Rowley saying, well, he hasn't said anything, which is what I was reading. Many people have been calling for Stuart Young to be fired. There's actually a poll going around right now, a petition asking people to sign that he be fired. The Express ran a front page editorial on that issue. I see someone wrote a letter to the editor as well in the Guardian newspapers calling for the same of Stuart Young, our Minister of National Security. And it is a trending topic on social media, on Facebook. And the Prime Minister, Keith Rowley, is actually now being, the they're saying that he is refusing. He seems unbothered by the conflict that has arose out of this issue with the U.S. Ambassador Joseph Mandalo and Security Minister Stuart Young. Joseph would have come out and said that he did have a discussion with Stuart Young about the visit of the Vice President, raising the fact that we are a signatory to the Rio Treaty and the implications of such. Stuart Young, as those would know, previously went on record saying that the issue of a breach of the Rio Treaty was not raised. So it's not a whole she said, he said story. And the news this morning is that Prime Minister Keith Rowley seems unbothered by what is happening. No action is being taken by or against Stuart Young. And I raise this particular issue because the calls for Stuart Young to be fired are real and legitimate calls, I believe. And the reason why we are calling for this is because Stuart Young is our Minister of National Security. He is a man responsible for protecting us, the citizens. He's responsible for protecting the borders. He gave and he signed an exemption letter that allowed someone from a country, someone who has sanctions imposed on them, a country that has sanctions imposed on them, he allowed them to come into this country. And since then, he has been recording blunder after blunder, misstep after misstep in terms of his handling of this issue. He has all but lied by omission, blatantly lied in the opinion of many experts as well as non-experts, regular citizens who have watched him flip-flop on the issue. And for Keith Rowley not to say anything and to remain silent on the issue, it is very telling of I think it sums up in a nutshell the 5 years of this particular administration. A lot of wrongdoing has it's been swept under the carpet. A lot of, in terms of accountability, we had that issue last year with Marlene McDonald, an issue that now I have no idea what has happened with it. We have no idea where it has gone. Is she still under investigation? Is she still under arrest? We have that issue of Stuart Young's stepdaughter. What became of her? Is that an issue? Is that a case that is going to be heard anytime soon? Is she going to be charged? Again, many questions raised under and of this particular administration that has given the public cause to question the leadership of this particular party. They are now, I would say, they're in hyper mode in terms of putting out propaganda, putting out distraction to the public. We had some appointments to the Senate last week. We had some removals in terms of removals of office. But none of it seems to be able to distract from the fact that this particular administration seems to be in a bit of trouble. It's an election year, it's an election season, even though they're saying this is not a time for politics. We're seeing certain plays being made. This one in particular, like I said, it sums up completely a lot of the wrongdoing that we have seen taken place over the past 5 years. AV oil, what became of AV oil? Something that we have not had a resolution on. The issue with the Attorney General and his family renting buildings to the public service, renting buildings to the government, buildings that are empty, buildings that we're paying in the millions of dollars for per year, and we're not getting any returns on that because it's empty. Money and taxpayers' money that is being spent, alluding to misbehavior in public office. How could the Attorney General's family be given such an enormous contract? Why was that allowed to happen? And why to date have we not heard anything from the Prime Minister with regards to that? The issue with the Attorney General Faris Al-Rari's children and them wielding the guns up in the training camp. All of these issues that have littered and dotted the PNM administration in the past 5 years, issues that we have yet as a public to get clear answers for. And I'm raising all of this because we are approaching an election season, and we spoke about it on this program this morning about recycled politicians. But it's not just recycled politicians, because we're seeing that they're trying to change out some of these politicians, but it's recycled politics. And I think that is the core to this issue. Trinidad and Tobago no longer needs recycled politics. The politics that we have back and forth, PNM, UNT, UNC, PNM, PNM, UNC, UNC, PNM, it has not benefited us in any way. You look today at what is supposed to be a measure of our growth, and the only thing that I guess can tell that we have gone anywhere in the past 10, 20 years is that we have new buildings. We have the Hyatts, we have more malls being built on farmland. But in terms of really redeveloping and developing Trinidad and Tobago, what do we actually have to show for it? We talk the issues over and over about water, the fact that there is no water in certain areas. We have to rely on a water distribution schedule. Some days those schedules don't work. The fact that crime is so high, thank God for COVID-19. I guess criminals are afraid of the virus. Killings are not as rampant as it used to be. Thank God for the stay-home order. People aren't coming to shoot up your homes or rob you outside of your house, take your car. But it's still the reality of the country that we live in, and the reality of the country that we will have to face, and possibly even worse, post this COVID-19 period, because we have not done anything to change the way we operate, other than change the face of a few politicians, change a few positions. Nothing at a fundamental level has changed, and nothing will fundamentally change until we, the public, decide to change our politics on a whole, until we, the public, decide that we are tired of the same old in and out. We're tired of new faces on old politics. We're tired of being lied to. We're tired of not hearing answers. We're tired of calling for transparency and accountability and being met by silence. It is a great insult to the public of Trinidad and Tobago that we can be calling for the Prime Minister to take some action against Stuart Young and be met by silence. It has been a great insult to us in terms of every issue that has gone unanswered, that has been swept under the carpet. And we here in the Progressive Empowerment Party, we keep calling for this accountability. We keep calling for transparency, because that is the only way you can actually get politics that works. The reason why at this point in time, the reason why Stuart Young can't, or I don't want to say can't be fired, because the public still, at the end of the day, is the last line between whether you're hired or you're fired. An election is coming up, and we have an opportunity, even if the Prime Minister refuses to do so, we have the opportunity to fire him. But we can't. The reason why we are stuck so far in the 5 years of politics is because we've never made recall legislation. We've never brought recall legislation to the Parliament. We've had bills written that sit down in Parliament. We've had attorney generals come and go. They talk about it, they pay lip service to it, but in actuality, what is being done in terms of raising the accountability? If when I was hired for my first job, I was told in no uncertain terms what are the conditions under which I can be fired, and understanding the boundaries within which I had to operate, I, as an employee, had to toe the line. But as it is right now, we hire government ministers into office. We hire MPs into office, and they are basically given a 5-year reign to run rampant unless we have a prime minister who, as we are seeing with Keith Rowley, is unwilling to pay attention to the issue. He's, I guess, willing to let the 9-day wonder take place and hope that the public forgets. But we have no system in place right now to fire government ministers. And let me take a sip of water because it's just me talking this morning. And we in the Progressive Empowerment Party, we say within our first 100 days of office, recall legislation is something that we want to bring to the country. We want to bring this to the citizens because we have been made powerless in the past 57, going on 58 years. We've been made powerless because we've been told that we don't have a say in our governance. We're told that the only time we get to make a decision is every 5 years. But ministers should know that once they are hired for a job, they can be potentially fired from that job. They can be fired for misbehavior in public office. And if that was the case, I think the Attorney General would have been gone a while now. They can be fired for lying to the public, which in a case like that, 80-90% of parliaments would be, according to Natalia, the swamp would have been drained. We would have had an empty parliament tomorrow if that were the case. But if that were the case, the people would feel as if they once again had the power, because we've been told that we had the power in terms of our vote, but we've only ever been, until the Progressive Empowerment Party, we've only ever been fed the same politics over and over, changing the people every couple of years. But I mean, people like Coleman Burt that I know since my grandmother days, people that we have known for years are not the kind of leaders that we need for the country, but yet continue to see them in our politics and then wonder why they're making the same mistakes and the same blunders that we've seen them making 10-20 years ago. People like that we need to really change and get rid of. When I say get rid of, Trinidad and Tobago, we deserve so much better, and that is the mantra of the Progressive Empowerment Party. We deserve so much better. When people ask, what would you do that is different? We would empower citizens to understand the power of their vote, understand the power of their consumption, understand the power of their labor, understand that we are responsible for not just hiring, but put a Progressive Empowerment Party government into office, and we will give you the ability to fire as well. And that is one area that I wanted to discuss this morning with relation to the Prime Minister's absence or his lack of leadership on this particular issue. I try to imagine what would have been the situation if this were me and Philip Alexander as my Prime Minister. As it is right now, the way the Progressive Empowerment Party is run, the way it's managed, if it's any indication of who we will be given the chance of office, I have very high expectations for this particular political organization, because for an organization that is largely unfunded, and when I say unfunded, we're disconnected from the contract and the contract mafia and the 1% finances, for a political party that is striving to do this in all the right ways. We have a level of accountability in this party that I have to say, should we take that? And when we take it, I'm not saying should, when we take that into office, I think people would be absolutely blown away by just how much we stick to what we say we're going to do. As it is right now, I, as the chairman of the Progressive Empowerment Party, answering to my political leader on the running of the party, on the finances of the party, on the accountability of the party, of the mobilization teams, of the hub leaders, of the caretakers, of the constituency executives. in terms of the way we operate, the leadership structure of this party, I think it would be a breath of fresh air to Trinidad and Tobago if they could understand and really see what a party that is focused on transparency looks like. And it is something that I would be very, very, very excited to bring to Trinbagonians. It's something that would be very refreshing for Trinbagonians who have only ever had politicians cover up and lie and dodge for and avoid, for lack of a better term, avoid because they simply don't want to bring it to the forefront. I was reading an article by Mia Mottley, who is the Prime Minister of Barbados, and she said something because she's also the head of the she's the CARICOM chair, Miss or Mrs. Mia Mottley, and she was speaking about the large debt that is being borne by small island development states and small Caribbean islands like Trinidad and Tobago. She's talking about the fact that post COVID-19, it has the potential to either build some economies, rebuild some economies, have them morph into stronger economies, or it has the potential to make these economies collapse. Here in Trinidad and Tobago, we have been asking the question, what is our plans for diversification? What is our plan to raise the standard of living or to bring people up to the standard of living, seeing as we have so many people being laid off as a result of COVID-19? We're not getting answers to this. In fact, we're just getting a lot of distraction and noise, senators being appointed, candidates being outlined. Yet these real issues that are prevailing, that are affecting Trinbagonians, we're not hearing anything on it. And we're here in the Progressive Empowerment Party on this Plain Talk show, on the Pep Talk show, on the Plain Talks show in the night, bringing up these particular issues because we need at some point to have somebody level-headed. If it is not going to be the government, if it is not going to be the Prime Minister, we need people talking level-headedly. We need people talking we need people thinking forward-think. What am I trying to say? We need forward thinkers, who are actually committed to discussing and addressing the issue of restarting our economy after this. Is not going to be the same. Trinidad and Tobago is not going to go back to relying on oil and gas like we could have relied on it in the past. We've seen the price of oil around the globe. We've seen it collapse. We've seen how very fragile it is right now, hovering Brent crude oil hovering at just about $20 to $25, $26 a barrel, nowhere pegged to the $60 a barrel that our budget of 2019-2020 was pegged on. We are not yet talking redevelopment of Trinidad in terms of making ourselves food independent, in terms of food sustainability, in terms of giving our farmers incentive and land to grow. We're not yet talking about diversifying the economy away from oil and gas so that we can have another leg to stand on in the economy. We have not yet heard answers on what is happening with our pitch lake. I mean, at this point in time, it would have been very convenient to say, you know what, we took a hit in terms of oil and gas, you know what, we took a hit in terms of tourism, but at least we still have pitch. We don't even have answers with regards to that. And we're not hearing anything from the present administration. The opposition is there and they're talks and regurgitating PEP ideas and PEP solutions, but still themselves not presenting any real ideas and solutions for really taking this country forward, particularly in a time that is as precarious as what we are experiencing now with COVID-19. We here in the Progressive Empowerment Party, we're talking about diversifying away from oil and gas. We're talking about giving the agricultural sector the boost that it needs. We're talking about food independence because we understand that should there be a disruption of the supply chain across the globe like we are experiencing to a limited extent or to some extent in the right now in Trinidad and Tobago. I go to the groceries and I see it. You're not hearing about it, but I see particular items that I know we used to have in the groceries that you're not seeing anymore. It's happening and it's there. And should we have to reach a place where it gets disrupted even further, Trinidad and Tobago is in a situation where we are not food independent. We are not able to predict or use consumption data to tell farmers what to plant. We still have gluts and surpluses, and then lack of certain foods on the market because we have not yet been able to plan and organize what we grow when and in what in how in numbers that we supposed to grow these items. So we've seen administration in and administration out. We've seen that there's no clear plan for Trinidad and Tobago. And I would constantly raise the ideas and the solutions of the Progressive Empowerment Party, the solutions we have for home ownership to give even a minimum wage earner the chance to own a home, so that way you have a stake in your community. So that way, when you have a stake in your community, things like drugs and guns, you will not have that in your community. You will stand against that in your community, giving you a stake in your community as well, so that you can grow your children. Your children can grow up around you. They can go to the schools in the community, rebuilding the community. And I know I'm using that word community a lot, but rebuilding the community in such a way that we rebuild the nation and a whole, rebuilding the family, bringing hope back to the nation, hope that is in such scarce supply right now, but it is still there, it is still available. There's so much hope for Trinidad and Tobago, and I don't want you, the population, I don't want the citizens to lose hope, because without hope, there's nothing. We have reached and arrived at the end of our program right now. I would like to thank you for sticking around, even through the technical difficulties. I would like to thank all of the guests who came on the program this morning: Matthew Gibbs, Central Hub Leader; Alberta Stacey, Caretaker for Samuel Barataria; Natalia, Co-Chair of the Youth Arm. I really appreciate you guys coming on. Tomorrow we are going to have on the program Hadassah Charles McLeod. She is one of the co-chairs of the Women's Arm. We're going to have a discussion with her tomorrow, Friday, so please rejoin us on the program, where we will be having an in-depth discussion on current event topics that are plaguing Trinidad and Tobago. I did say starting this week that I wanted to end the show with a nice quote to encourage you, and Natalia actually hit the button on that quote this morning, and it's just to encourage you, the public, you, the viewing audience, anybody who's interested in being a part of politics, to be the change that you want to see. That is my thought for the day for you. Be the change that you want to see. Thank you for sticking around. We've reached the end. And remember, during this time of social distancing, self-isolation, did I go to say be the change you want to see? I said that already. During this period, remember, let's stay together by staying apart. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.